In this video we'll be demonstrating a complex 2-out automotive progressive die. We just dragged and dropped the part. It's a dumb step file. As you can see, there's nothing in the tree. It could have come from any CAD system. The gentleman that's doing the driving is a man that started with us about a year ago. The young man is 24 years old. Again, it's just about exactly a year. And he did this strip for the first time a few months ago, several months ago actually, and it took him about an hour. We saved the part, and now he's going to do this strip layout in about 25 minutes, and I've watched it before and am narrating it. I think you'll be pretty impressed. I know I was. Paul drives pretty fast. And so I'll try to keep up with my narration. Power trim and SolidWorks here. He's drawing the scrap on here right now and reversing the direction of it, not merging the result so that he can move that body down. The scrap falling. The part stays at die level and falls away from the die. This is a part that we actually designed a die for almost 10 years ago, 2005. And it was the first Metal Forming Magazine article that I had done was based on this part. So in the reprint of that part you can see this stock strip in print. And back then it took me about an hour and a half, or an hour and a half. It took me about a day and a half to do back in 2005. And now Paul's doing it in 25 minutes. Again, the first time he did it, it took about an hour. It was a bit rough. We've asked him to change a number of things, make it prettier looking. Again, he's only been in the industry for 1 year. He didn't know what a die was 1 year ago when he started with us. So here he's using the LogoPress 3 bending command. Bend the part up. And we're bending it up for doing the forming, and then we had bent it back down after that. Setting the material type, and here Paul is going to use progressive blank companion. He's going to select these edges and unform this flange. So note that he doesn't have to create any surface to unform the flange. He's unforming the flange tangent to the geometry that's already there. So super fast and efficient. And again, I've seen this video before. I know what's coming. And once he selects OK, it creates a skin of the part or surface, SolidWorks surface, and then he's going to unform the other side. And on the last flange we picked the edges, as you could see, and now he is picking the faces of what's going to get unformed. We mesh the faces. And they will start to unform. Like so. And validate that. Again, it creates a SolidWorks surface. And at that point, Paul will thicken that surface. Opposite direction, 110 thousandths thick. So this is another station. You see the things in the tree on the left there, 020, 030, station mark, etc. That's what each of the stations, that's where each of the stations stops, so to speak, and the new station begins. Here he's creating some reference geometry that will get used later on, creating a plane here. through a temporary axis and another axis, creating a sketch on the right plane. And here he's typing in, this is a neat way of doing things. I virtually never have done this, but you can type in to search for commands. It's very useful, especially when they're commands that you don't use very often, like intersection curve, in fact. And if you've never used intersection curve, I'd encourage you to check it out. It's a very handy command. Power trimming. And he needs to make this a little bit longer before he extrudes the surface. And he'll extrude it mid-plane. So it goes in both directions, like so. And this surface is going to be used to unform what you see there up to that surface. Because again, we did this die in 2005. We designed this die. And so we've actually got sample parts of the part. Very nice to have. Here that plane he created earlier, he just used to create a split line. Again, something we use very often, both with Progressive Blank Companion and with LogoPress 3 Blank. And here he's using Progressive Blank Companion again. And he's going to unform everything to the right of that line that he just selected. And he's going to unform it up to that surface that he created. Using, again, Progressive Blank Companion. Progressive Blank Companion is the one thing, the one product that LogoPress makes in their LogoPress 3 software that is an add-on product. LogoPress 3 die design software includes all the software that we make, including the strip layout, the flattening, the unbending, the round draw module, etc., etc., but it does not include the Progressive Blank Companion add-on, because there are a limited number of people that do complex shaped parts like this. So rather than have them share the cost in it, so to speak, only the people that need this type of software, that do this complex shaped type of thing where you have to unform one set of forms so that the part looks like it's supposed to look in this station, and then unform another set of forms so it looks like it's supposed to be look in the station before it, etc. It's a very, very handy tool, as you can see here. So the geometry that you see to the right of that line is going to get unformed. That's all getting meshed right now, and then every mesh element is being flattened up to that surface, or unformed up to that surface. And when we validate, it creates the resulting surface body. Again, this is very, very similar to the die that we designed in 2005. You can see the pictures of it in the Metal Forming Magazine article. Again, he creates the next station in the die. And back to the intersection curve. Drags this one up there, and again we'll extrude a surface mid-plane, like so. And then he'll go back into Progressive Blank Companion, and he'll select the boundary edge and unform everything on the right side of that boundary edge up to that surface that he just created. So think about how long it would take you to go from what you see on the screen right now and unform all of that up to a flat surface. you'd be taking quite a guess at what some of the geometry looks like. And Progressive Blank Companion does it with science. Back to Paul's background. Paul had gone to college for 1 year for engineering, decided college wasn't for him. And again, when he was 24, he joined us here at Accurate Die Design without knowing what a stamping die was, and we started from scratch with him. But again, he's a very, very sharp young man, picks things up very quickly. And of course, LogoPress 3 and 3D die design software make it much, much easier to train a person like this than you could back in the day with 2D software. And LogoPress has many tools that make it very easy to train someone. And there's our surface body. And we thicken that. And then finally we're going to create the flat blank. And LogoPress has been developing die design software far longer than any other company in the world. If you've watched other videos or listened to me before, you've probably heard me talk about that. We're the only company in the world, besides been doing it longer than anybody else, we're the only company in the world that this is our only business. LogoPress only does die design software and related flattening software. Every other company that does 3D die design software does other things besides die design software. They do mold software or CAM software or CAD software or all three of them, etc. We focus solely on this and have for our entire almost 25 years. We'll celebrate our 25th anniversary in October. So here he inserts his last station mark. Again, the station marks are where one station ends and the next begins, so to speak. And I like the way he's naming these after he's already created them. It's a very, very efficient method because you can see easily what's going on in each of the stations as you roll up right after the station mark. For those of you that know SolidWorks, this is it's history based, as you can see as he's rolling in the tree. You're going back in time in history. Parametrics makes die design very, very powerful through the parametrics of SolidWorks. And you can look at the part change as he rolls up. There it's bent down. So that's what he calls the station. And just about done. Pierce the slot. There you can see the scrap falling down with the part staying at die level. And for those of you that know SolidWorks, note that you don't have to drag the rollback bar. You can just right click on it and say go to the end. And he just pressed Control Q on the keyboard, I would imagine, which rebuilt the part. And now he selected the part preparation before strip starting, which as you can see is automating lots of stuff. It brought in all these configurations, and this method that LogoPress uses makes SolidWorks performance much better than it otherwise would be without it. This is one of my favorite LogoPress commands, the overlay, the hide show previous bodies. Really cool feature for seeing what's going on even before you create the strip, as far as how one station overlays over the other. And here we created what will be the blank section sketch. This is what will end up getting used when we create the strip layout, which we're doing right now, to help automate the creation of the punches. Adding some idle stations, and basically we're roughing it in like you'd rough in a house with the studs. You can, once you get it roughed in, you can make changes later. You can take stations out, put stations in. We put a project number in it, and that's your job number basically, and now every component that goes into the die will have that job number on it. Saves you a lot of time and hassle. And LogoPress is automatically creating the strip layout. We're going to have 1 times material front and back, and 2 times material thickness between the parts. And this is going to be a 2-up, as I said, so Paul will search for another part to add, and he will add the second part, which is actually the exact same part, but we're saying we want 2 of them, and it's not a symmetrical part, so there's not a right hand and a left hand, they're both the same. So this one will end up getting rotated 180 degrees from the other part. And now he'll set the X dimensions. So this is from the origin of the part to the edge of the strip, where the strip starts, to the leading edge, so to speak. And then he selects the other part from the part list and changes the dimension of that one. And again, through the power of parametrics, we turn the parts and arrange them properly left to right. Again, 2 times material between the parts right now. And here he's going to set the material width. And we'll set progression later on. And he clicks on the punch tab and creates all the punches for the internal cuts of station 1 automatically. And this, for those of you that use SolidWorks, see how nice that was? He creates a punch and it zooms you normal to, saves you a lot of time, so you're basically in 2D sketch mode. Creates the part, so now we're creating the second part. Creates the part, zooms you normal to. And now he will create another punch, puts you into sketch mode, creates the punch, zooms you normal to, saves the punch. And adjusts it with a rectangle, and then searches the punch outline. So this is the blank section sketch, is what I told you we're using automatically to help create the punches. Create the next punch. Drag the rectangle into approximate position and search the punch outline using LogoPress 3. And there's the graphical, you can see the orange, the graphical area of what's going to be cut. Search the punch outline. And this is, you can see some of the edges of the punches on the outer periphery of the part aren't super clean. We can clean that up another time, but this is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I will tell you this is very, very adequate for a quotation, for example, or to roughen a strip layout. Get a preliminary approval on it before you spend a lot of time with it. Very quick to rough it out. And very quick to clean it up after you have roughed it out. Once you get approval or once you get awarded the job, we will show you that in another video, how we'll clean up the geometry, so to speak. And again, you see the graphical preview. And one more gutting punch. And you see the convert for construction command that Paul used. It's a LogoPress. Well, LogoPress automates. It takes a SolidWorks command and it automates it. So converts something for construction, or converts the entity and then changes it to construction, all with one command. And the reason we do that is because it's very much the best way to dimension with. And two more punches left. This one and the one in the front, the similar one. And again, the orange part that you see there is all graphical. That hasn't been cut away yet. We're creating all the punches first, and then once we've got them created, we'll hit the apply button to actually make the cuts. And there's our rectangle. Whoops, he validated the rectangle, so he just has a rectangular punch. He forgot to hit the search punch outline, so he'll trash this one, put it in the trash can, and add another punch. And this time you will remember to hit search the punch outline. There we go. So it searches for whatever it can as far as the punch outline and leaves the rest of the rectangle, so to speak. And there again you can see all the graphical preview. And we can move punches, as you can see. Once we've moved it, we'll take it out of the list to be moved so it doesn't move again. Put this one in the list and move it. Oh, we got to clear that first. And then move these two punches. You can also drag and drop them by holding down the Alt key. And as you can see, those two punches on the left there, the middle ones, those are too close. You've got a weak dissection there, so we'll show you in another video how we'll break those up and move them apart from one another. Again, very easy to make changes. Changes are a necessary part, obviously, of a die design, whether those changes are during the die design process or when the die is completely done. The customer is going to come back and make some changes, or you have to make changes to the development or whatever. You've got to be flexible. It's a very key part of things. Now these punches are they're moving, as you can see. That's what's happening in the background. And now the cuts have been made. And we validate the strip layout, and we get the option to calculate lots of different things, as you can see here in the list, including joining the part. For those of you LogoPress 3 users that are watching this, you don't want to join the part until the job is done, practically speaking, because you want the strip to be all joined nice and pretty for drawings, but while you're working on it, you want to leave it in the non-joined state. And joining just means that right now it has no lines in it. It looks exactly like the stock strip hanging on the wall. But normally it has lots of broken lines in it, which doesn't hurt a thing. We'll hide this, hide that component, and oh, that just hid the entire joined part. So we'll Control Z to undo that, and we'll hide that body file later. So again, about 25 minutes or so for Paul to do this strip layout. 2-out complex strip layout. So a bit later we'll be creating another video and showing how we edit it further from here.